Shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Abishai by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the hopeful elect, the confusion of faith brothers joined unto our ranks, the akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say shalom. And Shabbat shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of GMS here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson. And I'm going to open with the scripture. The first scripture is 1 Peter's 3:15, and it reads, "But sanctify Yahweh power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear." And I had a brother that approached me today that I've actually remember his face. I remember speaking with him on the line. And he's an Israelite. You know, he's a J. Either Judah or Benjamin. For some reason, I'm getting a Benjamite vibe on him. And the brother, you know, the brother was sincere. But, you know, he was hot. He approached me while I was on the train. You know, it's crazy how people are recognizing me. I guess more people are watching our videos than we think. But the brother approached me and said, hey, what's up, brother? You know, shalom. You know, and I greeted the brother. And he said, hey, can I have an honest conversation with you? And I said, you know, and I was, and then the brother was kind of being kind of rude because even though I wasn't talking to anyone, it was clear that I was watching a video. If I'm not mistaken, I think Apostle Ramlab was on live and I was listening to him. But you know, I turned it off and you know, and decided to break bread with the brother. The Spirit said, okay. So, and through the Spirit, I knew that he was gonna challenge the gospel. I wasn't quite sure what he was about to challenge. But it was the Northern Kingdom. That's what he was trying to get to. And he was using pseudoscience terminology. And pseudo, for those of you who don't know, means false science. Falsely created. Trying to use carbon dating and using the term Mongoloid, which is a made-up social construct which was created by Esau Edom. We're talking about a people who fabricated their own name, who self-proclaimed themselves as white in 1681. This is who you're going to listen to? And he's coming against the gospel, but all the sources he was quoting is stuff that we've already proven to be wrong and to be debunked. Like carbon dating is not an accurate science, you know? And if it's not accurate, that means it's not true. There's too many hypotheses, meaning it's based upon guesses. And you can't guess the measurements of something. You have to know it. And that's what the word science means. It means to know, and they don't know. Then he tried to use the term Mongoloid and the Bering Straits. And then he told me that, you know, how he's got a stack of books at home that was taller than he is. Because, you know, he's kind of he's a small brother. He's not a real big in stature brother. But, you know, that I can't think of it, but that scripture that says, you know, the reading of many books, you know, ever reading but never learning, you know, roughly paraphrased. I know I just butchered it. But it's quite frank, man. The Bering Strait is a complete and total lie. There's no way that close to 1 billion people could have crossed across the Bering Straits, man. They can't even cross there. They could barely cross there with ice-breaking ships. There's no way you brought women, children, and old people across there in the billions through that cold weather. There would be millions of skeletons there, and they never found anything. Not one moccasin, not one spear, not one arrowhead, not one pot, not one tool, not one bone. And then there's no animals out there for them to hunt. So that whole theory is a theory, it's a lie. Okay? And it's not even really a theory. It's just a straight out lie because they know who the so-called natives are. Okay? So let's get another scripture. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. And it reads, casting down imaginations and everything that exalteth itself against the knowledge of power, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. Point blank period, man. No. And this, you know, and the brother was getting a little excited and a little loud, you know. And it's hard to be patient to let someone speak when you already know that they're wrong before they even speak. Because we've had this fight, this battle so many times. You know? And it's like there's nothing you can say that can justify what you're saying. There's no book and no scripture, and he's trying to say that in 2nd Ezra it says nothing about water and boats. And I said, well, typically when it says someone traveled by water, it's insinuating they went through boats. Why would they go down the rivers into the waters where the flood and all that sort of thing was held back? You know, it's. But I'm sorry, I was reading the scripture. No, that one wouldn't be a good one. So let's go straight to 2nd Ezra and let's read it. Okay? Let's read it. Because he was talking about carbon dating too. Talking about 15,000 years ago, which is off in itself because it was about 5,000 years for creation. Matter of fact, before I read 2nd Ezra, let's get that. It was about 5,000 years of creation. Okay? And then you had about another 7,000+ years of history. So, according to the timelines in the Bible, mankind is only about 12 to 13,000 years old anyway. So how you gonna get a fabric? Like I said, man. And then, you know, Esau be saying millions of years ago they're in the cave. No, they were in the caves barely 1,000 years ago, man. That's so embarrassing and hurtful. That's why they lie about it. Carbon dating is also a way for them to protect their lives and talk about things that happened so long ago to try to take the importance off certain things, man. All right, because when Yahweh created man, it was around the 5th day, which is what I was trying to find real quick. I had it all marked off in my old Bible. This is a new one. All right, but yeah, it was in the 5th day. You know, that much I remember. Here's it saying that we can create man in our own image and dominion over the fish. But nevertheless, you know, I wasn't really prepared to go to those scriptures, so Salakia for that. But nevertheless, the time of creation, you know, in the 7th day the Lord rests, man. So you had about, you know, like 6,000 years of creation. The Lord rested on the 7th day, and that's, you know, and then you had about another 7,000 years of history, you know. So, of written history, because any history prior to the flood was destroyed, man. You know, anything that may have been written was destroyed. So let's get 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, started at the 40th verse. And it says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. So they got carried away over the waters. What were they carried on? Okay? I mean, think it's madness. And when you're looking at the map, what Assyria was and Nineveh and all that, okay? When you're looking at the map, I try not to touch it again. These little rivers here, you wouldn't need to look. They came down these rivers, down into the Gulf of the Persian Gulf or the Indian Ocean, and down under here, around the Horn of Africa. All right, you have Madagascar underneath them and they went in around past Madagascar, around Africa, around the Horn of Africa, and over into the Atlantic Ocean, man, and across the Atlantic Ocean into the Americas. And with all the Paleo-Hebrew and relics that came from this part of the world, mind you, all right, all the relics that was found among the natives, how in the hell did they get them? See, this guy's ignoring facts, man. These BOI, these black-only Israelite guys have cognitive dissonance when it comes to the information and the evidence when you present it. Okay? Yeah, they when you present the information, they're just against it. So here's the Assyrian. They came down along these rivers, down into this body of water, which takes you right down into the Indian Ocean, right down past Africa, past Madagascar, and around the bottom of it over into the Americas, man. That's what happened, all right? And I'm going to prove it even more. But it says, and so they came into another land, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And look, this whole so-called Middle East, all of Europe and Africa, the old world, the East, everything, man was all over it, fully there. You look at a map of Europe, you look at the map of Africa. You look at the map of the Far East. Mankind had dwelt and filled those places up. The only place where mankind had not dwelt and lived was the Americas, the East. Like the scripture said, they will prophesy on the other side of the world, man. And as a matter of fact, if you go to the Jewish Encyclopedia, let's go to this real quick. I highlighted it. This is Azareth by Morris Jastrow Kaufman. By Morris Jastrow Jr. and Kaufman Kohler. Let's see if I can straighten this up. It says, the name of a land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration. According to Second Ezra or Fourth Ezra, which is what Second Ezra is, Columbus identified America with this land, says K. Serling, Christopher Columbus translated. Dr. Gross, page 15. This is true. I actually have that book behind me. There's also different Jewish encyclopedias which named America as so they've always known that they came over here to enslave the Israelites. And the transatlantic slave trade started with so-called Hispanics and natives. That's who it started with. Then they went to the west coast of Africa to get the southern kingdom, to get Judah later on. That is what happened. Like it or not, those are the facts. Those are the facts. Okay? Back to Second Ezra. It says, verse 42, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into the Euphrates along the narrow passages. Let's go back to the map. They entered into the Euphrates. See? There's the Euphrates River. Okay? So did they swim? They walked. Who walks through the river when all that land is there? If they could just walk to Azareth. Man. All right. It says they entered into the Euphrates. by the narrow passages of the river, and the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through the country there was a great way to go. Look, they were going down that river. A great way. Down through Babylonia into the ocean, man. All right? And it says so it's not, you can walk from here to here within weeks or a month or so. It says here that they took a year and a half to go. All right? Hold on. It says, and they entered the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over, and through the country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. And that same region is called Ashereth. So you got Mayor K. Serling and all these different Jewish scholars telling you that that this is Ashereth. As a matter of fact, Christopher Columbus came over here not searching for India. That's the convenient lie that that Edomites told. All right, he came over here looking for the Israelites. Why? Because he knew the Israelites that knew the way to the Americas. Hence the reason why in Mayor K. Serling's book it identifies the Torres. All right, he came with Morenos, Jews, real Jews, Morenos. All right, and why did he come with 5 Moreno Hebrew interpreters? All right, Moors, basically. He came with Hebrew interpreters because he knew he was going to encounter Hebrew-speaking people, man. Point blank, period. Facts. And he did. So when you look at the Euphrates River, it's not going to take you a year and a half to get there. You can, remember, you can walk from Egypt to Israel within a day or so. So if you set out, start walking, you know, you could make that walk from Assyria to Egypt within a couple days or so. I think it's a 3-day walk, if I'm not mistaken, from Israel to Egypt. So you figure at the most, if you were to leave Syria, you could walk to Persia within a month or so. You know, you walk, you stop, you eat, you could do that. It's not going to take you a year and a half to travel in this area that we're looking at. All right, and then it tells you in the Book of Kings about Solomon's navy by Hiram, how they went away, and they went on a trip and it took them a year and a half to go and a year and a half to come back. That's your precept right there. All right. Yeah, that's I think 1 Kings, 17th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. And he brought back oh, not Kings, but Samuel, Salakia. If I can find it. No, it is Kings. It's either 1st or 2nd Kings. But it tells you yeah. Because Hiram worked for King Solomon. All right. He worked for King Solomon, and he why can't I find it right now, man? My mind is it's lucky. I'm just kind of tired and out of it today, but the Spirit was on me to do this video because I had such a heated discussion with that brother, man. But nevertheless, you know, it tells you right there in the book in that Hiram, who works for King Solomon, would go on the trips you know, that took them a year and a half to go and a year and a half to come back every 3 years. And then it gave you, actually it's in the 10th chapter here. It says, this is 1 Kings 10, and I'm going to just, in verse 22, and it says, for the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver and ivory and apes and peacocks. And when you look that word up, peacock, in the Hebrew, it says turkeys, and turkeys are indigenous to America. The evidence that the Israelites came to America is beyond overwhelming. It's overwhelming. They found Hebrew relics from Canada to Brazil, man. Ancient Paleo Hebrew writing. The Decalogue, the Decalogue stone, the Los Lunas stones in Los Lunas, New Mexico, with the name of the 12 tribes on it, and the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and I think it was Deuteronomy the 17th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. How in the hell did they learn that were they reading and writing in this language if they weren't the Israelites? Hey, so with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson, eye-opening lesson to those who need their eyes open. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bashem Wakakwadash, Wa Abababal.